Most people have no idea that 2 bottles of soy sauce sitting side by side on the same shelf can be made through completely different processes. One of them fermented over months, the way it's been done for thousands of years. The other produced in a matter of days, using hydrochloric acid. The labels are designed to look nearly identical, and the one hiding a chemical shortcut isn't always the cheap one. Here's what almost nobody checks: the ingredient list on the bottle in their own kitchen right now. Because the gap between real soy sauce and the chemical imitation isn't subtle once you know what you're looking at, and most of the brands people buy every week fall on the wrong side of that line. That's what this video is actually about. Not just which brands to avoid, but why the gap between real soy sauce and the chemical imitation exists in the first place, and what's actually in the bottle you're probably using right now. Soy sauce has been made one real way for about 2,000 years, and the version most people are pouring tonight isn't it? More on that story in a minute. First, here's why it matters right now. The issue comes down to how soy sauce gets made when companies decide that months of fermentation is too slow and too expensive. True soy sauce takes 3 to 6 months to brew naturally, but to cut costs and speed up production to just a few days, budget factories use a chemical shortcut called acid hydrolyzed vegetable protein, or HVP. They boil cheap soy meal in hydrochloric acid to artificially extract the amino acids. During this harsh chemical reaction, the acid interacts with residual fats in the soy meal, synthesizing a byproduct called 3-MCPD. 3-MCPD is a heat-produced contaminant formed during the preparation of acid HVP soy sauce. First identified as a byproduct in 1978, it has been reported to be carcinogenic, nephrotoxic, and reproductively toxic in laboratory animal testing. Exposure to 3-MCPD may potentially cause adverse health effects including kidney, liver, and reproductive organ failure, as well as infertility. Now, to be fair, the joint FAO-WHO Expert Committee on Food Additives concluded that 3-MCPD is not carcinogenic to humans in vivo, but it recommends a maximum tolerable daily intake, and generally, when soy sauce is consumed as a seasoning, the amount is of low concern for human health. So, this is not a one-drop and you're done situation. Since 1996, many countries, including the European Union, Canada, and several Asian countries, have recommended or required that industry take steps to ensure that 3-MCPD in acid HP or Asian-style sauces does not exceed levels ranging from 0.01 to 1 part per million. The EU draws a much harder line than the US does. That gap is worth knowing. Here's the label test I promised you. Flip whatever bottle is near you right now and look at the ingredient list. If you see hydrolyzed soy protein, hydrolyzed vegetable protein, or HVP anywhere on that label, that's your sign. That's the chemical shortcut. In traditional brewing of soy sauce by fermentation, in which no hydrochloric acid is added, no 3-MCPD is formed. A clean, naturally brewed label reads water, soybeans, wheat, salt. That's it. It takes nothing more than water, soybeans, wheat, salt, and plenty of time to make a properly brewed soy sauce, and there are no preservatives or genetically modified organisms in that product. The moment you see a bunch of other stuff on that list, caramel color, corn syrup, MSG, sodium benzoate, you're looking at a product that was engineered in a factory to taste like soy sauce, not actually brewed to be one. Keep that test in your head, because we're going to run through 7 brands right now where it matters. We'll go from the least widespread offender to the one sitting in more American kitchens than any other soy sauce on this list, the version most people don't even think to question. Number 7. La Choy soy sauce. This is the bright red bottle that's been on American grocery shelves since the 1930s, and it's probably the most misleading product in this entire list. The packaging leans hard into an Asian aesthetic, and the price is low enough that it looks like a deal. But La Choy is not fermented soy sauce. The ingredient list includes hydrolyzed soy protein, caramel color, corn syrup, and sodium benzoate as a preservative. There's no fermentation happening here. This is a chemically produced flavoring liquid designed to mimic soy sauce. The taste is flat, one-dimensional, and aggressively salty in a way that real soy sauce never is, because real soy sauce builds its saltiness through months of microbial activity, not through a rapid acid bath. If La Choy is in your pantry right now, it's the easiest swap you'll make today. Number 6. Kikkoman less sodium soy sauce, specifically the imitation version. Before anyone comes at me in the comments, this is not about all Kikkoman products. The standard Kikkoman naturally brewed is fine, and we'll talk about that. But there's an imitation Kikkoman less sodium product that uses hydrolyzed soy protein to compensate for the flavor lost when sodium is reduced. The real less sodium version, the one with the green cap, is still naturally brewed. Kikkoman less sodium soy sauce with the green cap does the best job of retaining a good flavor profile, with about 40% less sodium than its classic counterpart. The problem is, the labeling between these products is confusing enough that people grab the wrong one regularly if it says less sodium and the ingredient list doesn't start with water, soybeans, wheat, and salt. Put it back. The label confusion here is a real issue, and it's worth spending an extra 15 seconds to check. Number 5. Aloha Shoyu. This one is going to upset some people, and I get it. Aloha Shoyu crafts Hawaii's best-selling soy sauce, established on the island in 1946, and today, Asian grocers on the mainland often have it in stock. There's genuine cultural loyalty attached to this brand. It's a piece of Hawaii's food identity. But the brand is tight-lipped when it comes to its production process, and its ingredient label lists fermented soybeans, which could indicate a natural brew, but the production method hasn't been independently verified in a transparent way. When a brand can't or won't clearly state that it's naturally brewed, that's a yellow flag. The flavor profile reflects it. It's pleasant, but lacks the depth and complexity that a full fermentation cycle produces. If you're in Hawaii and it's part of your food culture, that's your call. But if you're buying it on the mainland thinking it's a premium product, there are better options at similar price points. Number 4. Lee Kum Kee Panda brand soy sauce. This is a big one because Lee Kum Kee as a company makes some good products. Their premium soy sauce line is a different story, but the Panda brand, the one you see at almost every mainstream grocery store, is a different product entirely. The ingredient list includes hydrolyzed soy protein, caramel color, and added MSG. Now, high-quality, naturally brewed soy sauce should not contain added MSG because the long fermentation process naturally creates glutamic acid, which is the source of its umami flavor. When a brand adds MSG on top of that, it's a signal that the natural fermentation wasn't deep enough to produce that umami on its own. The Panda brand is essentially a budget product wearing a brand name that people associate with quality. The premium Lee Kum Kee line, look for premium on the label, is a different product and a different process. Don't let the name do the work of reading the label. Number 3. Carry out soy sauce packets. These are the little packets sitting in a bowl at every Chinese takeout counter in America. Most people never think twice about them because they're free and tiny, but carry-out packets are not brewed soy sauce. They're a hydrolyzed soy protein solution with added caramel color and preservatives, portioned into packets. The per-serving exposure is low, sure, but if you're the kind of person who dumps 4 or 5 of these on your fried rice every time, that adds up. And the flavor is genuinely bad, thin, chemical, weirdly sweet. It's worth keeping a small bottle of real soy sauce at home so you're not reaching for these out of habit. Number 2. Wanjashan soy sauce. Specifically, the conventional non-organic line. Wanjashan has an organic line that's actually decent, but the standard bottles use a blended production method that combines some fermentation with acid hydrolysis to speed up production. Since traditional brewing is time-consuming and costly, rapid brewing and mixed methods have been introduced as alternatives, in which hydrochloric acid is added to facilitate hydrolysis of vegetable protein to save the time taken for its hydrolysis by microbial enzymes. That's exactly what's happening in the conventional Wanjiashan line. It's a hybrid process, which means you're getting some of the chemistry problems without getting the full flavor benefits of proper fermentation. The organic line sidesteps this, so if you see Wanjiashan and the organic label is there, that's a different conversation. Without it, skip it. And now, the one that surprises most people. Number 1. Kroger, Walmart, and generic store brand soy sauces. I know, you already suspected these weren't premium products, but here's what most people don't realize: these aren't just lower quality versions of real soy sauce. In many cases, they are not soy sauce at all by the traditional definition. The Great Value soy sauce at Walmart, the Kroger House brand, the generic bottles at discount grocery chains, nearly all of them use hydrolyzed vegetable protein as the base, combined with caramel color, corn syrup, and sodium benzoate. Chemically produced soy sauces often contain added MSG, corn syrup, and artificial colors. The reason this lands at number 1 is scale. These are the bottles that end up in the most kitchens, bought by the most people, because the price point is unbeatable and the label looks similar enough to the real thing that most people never look twice. That bottle, priced at $1.58, is cheap for a reason, and that reason is on the ingredient list. So before we get to what to actually buy, here's the part almost nobody knows: why any of this exists in the first place. Soy sauce was created in its current form about 2,200 years ago during the Western Han Dynasty of ancient China. Salt was scarce and expensive back then, and fermenting it together with soybeans turned out to be a way to make it go further, which is how this thick, savory paste first came about. The original fermented sauce was eventually split into 2 different products: fish sauce and soy sauce as the vegetarian alternative, largely driven by Buddhist dietary practices spreading across Asia. From there, it was transformed into shoyu, a fermented seasoning unique to Japan, and by the late 1600s, soy sauce production had begun near what is now the city of Noda in Chiba Prefecture, the same region 2 of the 3 brands on our buy list still trace back to today. Made using only 3 ingredients: wheat, soybeans, and salt. Traditionally brewed soy sauce is fermented for months, and the hundreds of flavor components that form as a result give it all 5 tastes and the ability to season almost anything. That's the standard the next 3 brands actually meet. Now, and this is the part people actually want, here are the 3 brands that genuinely hold up. Number 3, Kikkoman Naturally Brewed Soy Sauce, the classic red cap. This is the one that earns its spot on the list because of consistency, accessibility, and a genuinely clean ingredient list. It takes nothing more than water, soybeans, wheat, and salt to make a bottle of Kikkoman Naturally Brewed. No preservatives, no genetically modified organisms. During the 100 years from the mid-17th century to the mid-18th century, the soy sauce industry flourished, centered around the families near the present-day city of Noda in Chiba Prefecture, and it was during this period that Kikkoman soy sauce was born. It's been doing this a long time. The flavor is balanced, the fermentation is real, and you can find it at virtually any grocery store in the country. It's not the most complex soy sauce on this list, but it's the most reliable one at a price that makes sense for everyday cooking. Pour a small amount and you'll notice the color first, a clear, warm, reddish brown, not the flat black of the chemical versions. On the tongue, the salt hits first, then a round, savory umami settles in behind it, and right at the end, there's a faint sweetness from the wheat. That layered sequence is what 6 months of fermentation actually buys you. For general purpose cooking like stir fries, marinades, and fried rice, Kikkoman Naturally Brewed is the undisputed champion of value and performance, and its balanced profile provides the perfect savory foundation. Number 2. Yamasa shoyu. This is the one that most people in the US have never tried, and that's a genuine shame. Yamasa has been brewing soy sauce since 1645 in Choshi, Chiba Prefecture, a coastal town where the climate and proximity to soy and wheat farming made it a natural hub for shoyu production. It's brewed using traditional Moromi fermentation and aged for around 1 to 2 years. That extra time in the fermentation process shows up in the flavor. There's a brightness and sharpness to Yamasa that Kikkoman doesn't quite hit, which is why it's the preferred dipping sauce in Japanese households. Where Kikkoman opens with salt, Yamasa opens with a sharper, almost citrus-like brightness up front, before the umami builds in underneath it, a shorter, punchier sequence than Kikkoman's, which is exactly why it's the one used for dipping raw fish instead of cooking into a dish. For dipping, Yamasa is a top recommendation. Its sharp, bright profile is perfect for cutting through the richness of fatty tuna or tempura. Yamasa is less accessible than Kikkoman, but it's carried at chains like Whole Foods and Albertsons and on Amazon, and many Asian grocers like H Mart also stock it, often in bulk quantities. If you've only ever used Kikkoman, trying Yamasa is one of those small upgrades that genuinely changes how your food tastes. Number 1. Sanjay Tamari. This is the one I want you to remember, and here's why it earns the top spot. Unlike typical soy sauce, Sanjay's Tamari is all soy and no wheat, which is not only helpful to gluten-sensitive folks, but renders it even more umami-rich. Tamari is the oldest form of Japanese soy sauce, originating as a byproduct of miso production made with little to no wheat, making it naturally gluten-free. Pour it, and it's noticeably thicker and darker than the other two, almost syrup-like. There's no sharp salt hit at the front the way there is with shoyu. Instead, the umami arrives first, deep and almost meaty, and it just keeps building instead of fading, with barely any of the sweetness Kikkoman has. It's the most intense of the three, and it coats the palate in a way the other two don't. Sanjay has been producing Tamari in Japan since 1804, and their process is transparent, certified organic, and completely free of the chemical shortcuts we've been talking about this entire video. For dishes that require a richer, deeper flavor and a darker color, like a beef stew or a glaze for ribs, a gluten-free Sanjay Tamari is an excellent choice. And if you've been managing sodium, Sanjay also offers excellent reduced sodium tamari options that don't compensate for the flavor loss by adding HVP. This is the brand that closes the loop I opened at the start of this video, the one that most people never discover because they're loyal to whatever bottle their parents bought. Here's where we land. The soy sauce aisle is full of products that look identical but are made through completely different processes. There are 3 types of soy sauce: fermented, acid hydrolyzed vegetable protein, and mixtures of the two, and only one of those 3 categories is the real thing. The label test is simple: water, soybeans, wheat, salt. If the ingredient list goes past those 4 things into hydrolyzed proteins, corn syrup, caramel color, or sodium benzoate, you're holding a product that shortcuts the process that makes soy sauce worth using in the first place. The brands to avoid: La Choy, the imitation Kikkoman less sodium version, Aloha Shoyu, Lee Kum Ki Panda brand, carry-out packets, conventional Wanja Shan, and store brand generics, all cut corners in ways that show up either in the chemistry of the product or in the flatness of the flavor. The 3 that hold up, Kikkoman Naturally Brewed, Yamasa, and Sanjay Tamari, are all naturally fermented, all have clean ingredient lists, and all taste like what soy sauce is actually supposed to taste like. 2,000 years of brewing tradition versus a few hours with hydrochloric acid. The bottle on your counter doesn't tell you which one it is. The ingredient list does.